Currently, around 870 sex offences, including 5 child rape cases, have been dealt with by community resolution orders in the last 2 years. Community resolution orders provide the police with an option for dealing with low-level crime. It's said to be a more proportionate way of dealing with less serious crimes. First offenders, where genuine remorse has been expressed and where the victims have agreed that they do not want the police to take more formal action. Although somehow I can't see how any of these would fit the criteria of a sex offence, but I'm not the one who's trying to normalise it, am I? Through a community resolution order, although notes will likely go on file, it means that if you say sorry, you can get away without being given a criminal record. CROs were introduced initially to deal with things such as petty shoplifting or less serious criminal damage, for example, but are being used for people who have committed indictable crimes. Some police policies use it to settle rape, flashing and child grooming cases. In fact, South Yorkshire Police used CROs to deal with 78 sex crimes, the most that any police force across the country has used in the last 2 years. Durham and Cheshire Police and Nottinghamshire all used it for the rape of girls under 13. Merseyside Police dealt with the rape of a girl under 16 with a CRO, and police in Norfolk used a CRO over the rape of a young boy. Also, Derbyshire and Devon and Cornwall all used community resolutions in rape offences. Fiona Mackenzie of campaign group We Can't Consent to This has said, "There is no justice for victims and no protection for the public in letting offenders off if they say sorry. So-called minor sexual offences can be the path for offenders who go on to commit more and more serious crimes." Since 2020, 7 rape cases, 5 involving children, were dealt with by community resolutions. Home Office figures have shown there were 414 sexual assaults, 349 on girls and women, and 23 cases of grooming and 166 of exposure or voyeurism were resolved in the same way. A criminal justice source said, "You wonder if it's part of a mission to drive down costs." Some of the offences were said by police to have been related to sex acts between children. Dr. Alison Haydari of the National Police Chiefs Council has said community resolutions and other out-of-court disposals are used in around 1% of sexual cases. They may be typically applied where school children share inappropriate images or in cases of sex between underage children. We have made it clear out-of-court disposals are not to be used in serious cases. Yet you seem to make it clear that certain policies should be followed, but then in the next breath make it clear that police can pretty much do what the fuck they want and ignore that policy. Rotherham survivor Sammy Woodhouse said, "I'm furious, it's just insane. Why on earth would you allow a sex offender to say sorry and not be criminalised? I think it's fine to use this scheme for something like shoplifting, but I'm struggling to find the words on how I feel about it being used for rapists. We are always told that lessons are being learned. In the case of South Yorkshire Police, this shows lessons haven't been learned at all. What kind of message is this sending out? It's suggesting to sex offenders there will be no real consequences for their actions. It's giving them a free pass." Sammy herself was abused by Arshid Hussain when she was a young teen. Originally let off, Hussain is now serving 35 years in prison after an outcry forced a new investigation. Can you get? Why would anyone want to work for an organisation that slaps sex offenders on the wrist and lets them go to commit more offences? It is utterly depraved and disgusting that anyone would think it's appropriate to deal with a sex offender in this way. In fact, another story that was sent to me was about how a court has allowed a sex offender to escape jail even though he has breached his sexual harm prevention order. 22-year-old Ryan Davis of Victoria Road in Wrexham was given a sexual harm prevention order in 2019 after being convicted of causing a child to watch sexual activity. The terms of his order specified that he is restricted in his use of devices and that the internet and required him to keep the police informed about his use of such things. However, police were alerted in 2021 that Davis had been using social media apps with usernames that he hadn't registered with the police. Police attended his home and Davis made a concerted attempt to conceal his use by hiding his mobile phone in a vehicle. Later, when it was discovered, it was found to have a number of social media applications installed, and the device itself had been named PlayStation 4 so that it didn't show up on his router at home. There were also videos of a sexual nature on the phone. Ryan Davis appeared in Mould Crown Court last Thursday for sentencing, where Judge Niclas Parry obviously felt sorry for the perverted cretin. Even though Judge Parry said, "You're a slippery, devious, dishonest man, which makes it very difficult to work with you, and an order has been made because you're high risk of harm to young children, and you made determined efforts not to help the police find what you'd been up to," gave him a 12-month suspended sentence for 18 months, 120 hours of unpaid work and 20 days of rehabilitation activity. And people wonder why this is so prolific when people don't get properly punished. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.